Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and to another episode of the IndyCar Podcast. Now, this is a special episode. It's not really a podcast because me and Stephen, you can tell by the thumbnail, we're here as salesmen today. We are here to represent IndyCar as a series, and we are here to big it up. Because what are we going to do today, Stephen?
We're going to give you 5 reasons for you to watch IndyCar this season.
Now, IndyCar for us is one of the best series in motorsport in the world right now. In single-seaters, the racing is unbelievable. We're going to get onto those points with our 5 points. It is such a fantastic series that we wanted to take this time to convince you why you should be watching IndyCar in 2021. Now let's get into those 5 points. It's what you've all been waiting for. So number 1 on the list is the calendar. Now the calendar for me is the most challenging in open wheel series across the world. And the reason for that is you don't only have the kind of road and street circuits that you have. I mean, if you're coming from F1, it's racetracks on the European and obviously continental scene as well. You don't only have those ones. You also have ovals. And oval racing is far more than just running around in a circle racing. It is running around at over 200 miles per hour, where any small or slight mistake means that your race is probably over. The concentration, the kind of planning on strategy and the planning on how you're going to get your overtakes done on track is by far a really underrated and incredibly difficult skill to master. But not only do you have to be good on those circuits to be the champion in IndyCar, you also, like we said, have to be good on the racetracks and street circuits, where again, it's different types of skills that are required from there. So you have to have this massive skill pool as a driver to be able to be successful across the entire series.
And that moves us nicely on to point number 2, the drivers. A highly talented field. You could call it the golden generation of IndyCar drivers. We've got about 7 title championship contenders. We've got the experienced guys who've been around the sport for the last 10, 20 years in Scott Dixon and Will Power. Then we have the kind of mid-generation, I guess, the guys that have really been rising to dominance recently in Joseph Newgarden and Alexander Rossi, obviously winning the Indy 500 in his rookie year, former Formula One driver. And then we have the young guys, the latest generation in the likes of Pato O'Ward and Colton Herta. Just an incredible driver lineup, from the experienced to the kind of newly established and the new rookies. Not quite rookies, but the new young guys competing. And the Rookie of the Year competition is between former Formula One driver Roman Grosjean, 3-time Supercar champion Scott McLaughlin, and 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson. Unbelievable. We've got an unbelievable pack between, the kind of golden generation and the actual rookies of the year.
It's going to be a great fight throughout the field. And that moves us on nicely to point number 3, and that is the championship battle. Now, for each of the last 16 seasons now, the championship fight has gone down to the last race, where at least 2 drivers have a possibility of winning the championship. And like Stephen mentioned in the drivers, there are 7 guys off the bat that you can for sure say have a really good chance of winning the championship. Your contenders are Joseph Newgarden, who has won 2 out of the last 4 championships. Then the current reigning IndyCar champion, which is Scott Dixon, who has also won 2 out of the last 4 and is just 1 title away from equaling AJ Foyt's record 7 IndyCar titles. Then you have Newgarden's teammates in Pagenaud and Will Power, both champions and both Indy 500 winners as well. And moving on to Andretti Autosport. Andretti, a famous name in the autosport world, run by now Michael Andretti. Their main 2 contenders are going to be Alexander Rossi, looking to bounce back from a disappointing 2020 season, and the young gun Colton Herta. And then the last one, Arrow, McLaren, SP, with the backing of McLaren and Pato O'Ward's being one of the most exciting talents in the series coming up. You feel with that backing and the progress that Arrow McLaren made last year that Pato definitely will be in it, especially as he finished 3rd in the championship last season. And that's just the 7 that you go, I think are confirmed. You could easily throw other names into the mix. Ryan Hunter-Reay is a former champion in the field and could suddenly kind of put together some form from that aspect. Arrow McLaren teammate Felix Rosenqvist can also come into it. And Alex Palou just moving up from his rookie season with Dale Coyne to the big team that is Chip Ganassi. Well, we've already seen him win one of the IndyCar iRacing challenges. If he really gets it together, he certainly has the team behind him that he could be going into it. But it's so exciting going into a season that there is so many drivers with the possibility of winning the championship and in cars that are capable of putting them in that challenge. But that's the championship. Stephen, point number 4.
Yes, point number 4, the racing. And because IndyCar is a near spec series with the same chassis used by all the teams and not much difference between the 2 engine manufacturers of Chevy and Honda, means the racing is very close together, with battles throughout the entirety of the field, with the drivers being the main difference in performance. This type of racing means you see wheel-to-wheel action through sequences of corners. There's not just one action point on a track. You can see it throughout the entire circuit, these battles between drivers. This can lead many races to go right down to the last lap with the leaders battling in and out. But if it doesn't go to the last lap and a guy does dominate the race, it just shows how exceptionally he drove that day.
Point number 5 is, of course, it was always going to be on the list, the Indy 500, the crown jewel in the IndyCar calendar. The one that is the most prestigious race to win, that winning the championship and the Indy 500 is almost a separate thing. You could finish 8th in the championship, but if you win the Indy 500, you've still had a fantastic season and your name gets carved into and your face gets carved into the famous Borg-Warner Trophy. It is something incredibly prestigious to win. First race happened in 1911. It will be the 105th running of the race this year. It is just a race riddled with history, and it is such a fantastic spectacle that for any racing fan, even if you're not interested in IndyCar, you pay attention to the Indy 500, arguably the most prestigious race in world motorsport at the moment. And why would you not want to watch that? So, you've heard from us. That is our 5 reasons why you need to watch IndyCar in 2021. But that's it from us today, guys. We hope you've enjoyed our reasons and we hope we've convinced you to give IndyCar a chance to watch it this season, because you won't be disappointed. It is destined to be a great season. Now, if you are an American viewer watching this, then you can watch it on NBC and on NBC Sports, and also it will be shown on some instance with the practices and the qualifying on their NBC streaming service of Peacock. If you're in the UK, everything is on Sky Sports F1. All the races for the entirety of the season will be there, so you've got no excuse. Around Europe, I'm not entirely sure where you can watch it from there, but there will be services that you can watch the races. And it will definitely be worth the effort of finding out how to do that. But if you're new around here and you want to stay up to date with all the IndyCar action throughout the season, what can they do, Stephen?
You can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it. So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing.